Why OnePlus is so famous? It's because of the quality which they are providing for the price we are paying. There are so many other phones in the same price range, but still we go for OnePlus. It's because of the Oxygen OS. This is not a biased video or it's not a sponsored video. This phone I got for myself, so I'll be telling my experience on using this phone for the past 1 week. I am Sumi, behind the camera we have Karthik. Today I'll be giving the complete review of the OnePlus Nord along with the pros and cons. Let's get started. See, I have very small hands, but still I felt so comfortable using this phone. I used it with and without phone case as well. I spent lots of time in social media, but I still didn't felt any heaviness on my hand. Even after putting the phone case, I didn't felt much difference. It's because of the phone's weight. It's just 184 grams. This is achieved by using the plastic side frame. Talking about the frames, as it is plastic, it is better to use the phone case. Otherwise, there are chances of getting scratches on the frame within 1 or 2 months. One of the best features of OnePlus is the alert slider. If you all of a sudden want to put your phone in silent or vibrate, you can use the alert slider instead of unlocking your phone and going into the settings. Speaking about the call quality is pretty good. We checked it in the lift, car parking and all, but we didn't found any issues in the call quality. Now let's see the speaker. The speaker is not bad. It is loud enough not to miss the calls. There is no 3.5mm jack in this phone, so we tested it using the Bluetooth headphones. The Bluetooth range and quality is pretty good. There is no issues. The in-display fingerprint scanner is fast and accurate. Every time I tried to open my phone, it recognized my fingerprint. Now let's see the dual SIM tray. The dual SIM tray doesn't have an SD card extension, so it's better not to go with the 64GB version. If you are opening and seeing the SIM tray, there is a red color ring. That is for a water resistance. The whole phone is equipped with water resistance even though there is no IP rating. So it can take water splashes and raindrops. But don't try to put it in water and check whether it is water resistant. If you see the front of the phone, the bezels are so slim, and along with the punch-hole cameras on the top left corner, the phone gives a modern look. There is no LED notification, so it is recommended to keep the ambient display on. It is not always on display, but whenever a notification comes, it pops up. If you see the overall design of the phone, except the plastic frame, the phone gives a premium look. Now let's see the display of this phone. This is a 6.44-inch AMOLED 90Hz display. The screen quality is good. The colors are punchy but not accurate. The brightness of this phone is good, but we recommend you to use auto brightness when you are going outdoors so that the display is visible under the sunlight. This is an HDR10 Plus display with wideband L1 certification so that we can watch HD videos in Netflix and Amazon Prime. Now let's see the most talked issue of this phone, that's the green tint issue. We had kept the phone in low brightness so many times and tested, but we were not able to reproduce the same issue. Maybe the issue is with some phones. But I encountered with another issue while we were testing. That is when we are keeping the phone in manual and the screen is a white screen, then the brightness is varying little bit. This is not a major issue. So when we are seeing overall the display is good. Now let's see the performance of the phone. The day-to-day performance of the phone is so good. Believe me or not, the Realme and Redmi phones of the same price range have Snapdragon 855. But Oxygen OS with Snapdragon 765 performs the same level as the other phones. I don't play so much of games, but I spend lots of time in social media and YouTube videos. I didn't find any issues in the performance. The RAM management of the phone is also pretty good. I am using a version of 8GB RAM. Even after opening lots of apps, the app didn't get reloaded once we open it. The overall performance of the phone is neck to neck with the other phones of the same price range. If you see the battery life of this phone, as I already said, I spend lots of time in social media and YouTube videos. Even after that, I got 6 to 6.5 hours of on-screen time. This is with 90Hz refresh rate. The phone gets charged from 0 to 70% in 30 minutes as they advertise, but sometimes the charging speed is pretty slow. It may be because of the battery intense apps running on the background, or maybe the phone getting a little bit warmed up. Talking about the warmness of the phone didn't got heated up any time during the usage. It only got little bit warm during when we kept it for charging. Talking about the overall experience of the battery life, it is pretty good. Now let's see the camera quality of the phone. This is where OnePlus always struggles. OnePlus normally releases their phone with an unfinished camera software. Even in the case of Nord, it is the same. Hope that OnePlus will release more camera software updates so that the camera quality will improve. Coming to the main camera, it is the same 48 megapixel camera which is being used in OnePlus 8. The image quality is not as good as OnePlus 8, but the image is not bad. The images came crisp and clear, the colors were punchy, and the dynamic range is widely improved. The second camera is an 8 megapixel ultra-wide camera. The images from this comes out soft and is not as detailed as the main camera. The other two cameras are the 5 megapixel and 2 megapixel cameras. I felt it as useless cameras because in the case of 5 megapixel camera, even after closing the 5 megapixel camera and taking the portraits comes out very well and detailed. Talking about the 2 megapixel macro camera, I didn't understand why they included this 2 megapixel camera for a macro shot, because the images which comes out from this does not have a clarity and it's not detailed at all. Instead of that, you can use the 48 megapixel camera and keep the subject closer and take the picture and crop it. This will give a more detailed image for more than the 2 megapixel camera. Speaking of the low light photos, the main camera without nightscape gives a darker image, but if you enable the nightscape mode, the images become clear and detailed. But in the case of 8 megapixel, even after putting the nightscape mode, the images comes out so dark. So I recommended not to use the ultra-wide cameras during the low light. Now let's see the selfie cameras. The 32 megapixel camera takes pretty good photos, but I felt there is a slight beautification which is happening, and when we were taking photos in the daylight, there is a noise as well. When going to the 8 megapixel ultra-wide camera, it does its job by fitting more people, but the clarity of the image is not as good as the main camera. In the case of selfie portrait, I don't recommend you to use this because the separation between the person and the background is not good. Coming to the video quality, whatever I had said for the photos, the same applies for the video as well. The 48 megapixel camera takes a pretty good video. There is an option to switch from the main camera to the ultra-wide camera. The ultra-wide camera video quality is not that good. There is one more weird thing which I had noticed, that is the main camera does not have the 4K 60 fps resolution, but the selfie camera have the 4K 60 fps resolution. Maybe in the future updates they will improve this. If we see the overall camera quality, the main camera and the main selfie camera gives a pretty good image. Let's see the overall positive of this phone. The main factor is the Oxygen OS, which makes the phone so smooth. Then we have the battery life, then the fast charging, then the phone is so compact and lightweight for the daily use. Now the negatives of this phone. The main negative is the camera itself. Instead of including the two useless cameras, they could have included a metal frame or a 3.5mm jack or else a zoom camera. There is some screen issues with some users as well. There is no 3.5mm jack for this phone. The micro SD slot is also not available. So because of which the 64GB version is not recommended. OnePlus had said that they will be releasing the phones under 25,000, but as the 64GB version is not released yet, the phone price starts from 28,000. So if you are a person looking for the smoothest experience under 30,000, you can go with OnePlus Nord. But if you are a person looking for the image quality or the camera quality, then you should not take OnePlus Nord at all. I'll be coming up with a new video comparing the OnePlus Nord and the OnePlus 70, whether putting 30,000 for OnePlus Nord is worth or we have to put an extra 5,000 to get OnePlus 70. If you find this video useful, please like the video, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for notifications.